This happened when I was 21. I still think about it sometimes because I can't explain any part of it. I stopped at a small convenience store on my way home from work. I went there all the time. Same cashier, same shelves, same old neon sign in the window. Nothing unusual. I bought a bottle of water and a sandwich. The cashier was an older man with a gray beard. I paid in cash. He handed me my change. I left. Simple. About 10 minutes later, I realized I had left my wallet on the counter. I turned around immediately and drove back. The strange part started there. The store was closed. Not closing. Closed. The lights were off. The sign was dark. The parking lot was empty. The door was locked. At first, I thought they had shut early, but that didn't make sense. I had been inside less than 15 minutes earlier. I looked through the glass. The shelves were still there, but the front counter looked different. The display rack near the entrance was gone. Even the register seemed to be in a different position. I checked my phone. Then I checked the hours posted on the door. According to the sign, the store had been closed all day for electrical repairs. I just stood there staring, because I knew I had been inside. I could still remember the cashier handing me change. I could still remember the smell of coffee near the counter. Then I noticed something else. My wallet was in my jacket pocket, exactly where it should have been. At that point, I decided I was tired and headed home. I figured I had mixed something up. Maybe I stopped at a different store. Maybe I was distracted. The next morning, I drove past the same location. The store was open. The neon sign was on. Cars were parked outside. Everything looked normal again. I went inside. The same older cashier was working. The same gray beard. The same voice. I asked him if the store had been closed the day before. He said yes, all day, electrical work. I told him I thought I had been there anyway. He laughed and said that wasn't possible. Nobody had entered because the power had been off since morning. Then he looked at me for a second and asked, "Wait, were you here around 6?" I said yes. That was exactly when I remembered stopping. The smile disappeared from his face. He didn't say anything for a few seconds. Then he shook his head and said, "That's strange." I asked why. He pointed toward the security monitor behind the counter. He said the cameras had briefly turned on during the outage, just for a few seconds, long enough to record an empty store. The timestamp on the footage was 6:03 p.m., the exact time I remembered being there. An empty store, no customers, no cashier, nobody. I never went back after that conversation. The store is still there. I've driven past it plenty of times. But every now and then, I wonder who handed me that bottle of water, and why I can still remember his face perfectly.